Matt Gaetz on his show. Great show. Love Matt. Think he does great work. I'm a fan. Okay, so I'm going to play something here, and I know many of you have seen this or have heard precisely this. We'll call it this argument being made. And this was Monday on OAN on his show. So listen here.
Many of President Trump's pro-Israel friends and advisors are trying to pressure and convince him that the United States should join airstrikes against Iran. On this program, we strongly disagree with that assessment and that advice. President Trump should reject it. I'm old enough to remember the last time Israel coaxed the United States into a regime change war in the Middle East. Listen to now Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu tell us in 2002 that invading Iraq would be a good choice.
It's not a question of whether Iraq's regime should be taken out, but when should it be taken out? I think the choice of Iraq is a good choice. It's the right choice. There is no question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever. And there is no question that once he acquires it, history shifts immediately.
Watching these clips that are more than 20 years old, does it make you feel like the Israel foreign policy seduction of the United States is some sort of regime change Mad Lib, where they just say, like, fill in country here, probably getting nuclear weapons, join us in some destabilizing effort? Netanyahu wasn't telling the truth about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And not only did the United States believe him, we parroted his lies to the world.
You know, Matt Gaetz is right, and he's wrong at the same time. The half of this where he is right is when he says that Bibi Netanyahu lied. Netanyahu did lie. There's no question about it. Everything you see here was either not true, right, because we later learned we didn't find the weapons of mass destruction, but I'm convinced personally that Bibi Netanyahu went and gave false testimony when he spoke here. I'm convinced of it. And by the way, nobody is saying boots on the ground. We're fueling up B-2 bombers with the prospect of dropping the mother of all conventional bombs, this bunker buster, deep penetrator, whatever it is. Sounds like it's from a sex show. That's probably by a team Biden probably thought it was some sort of a toy. Buttigieg, right? We're talking about literally going in there strategically on target, 2 sites, and eliminating this program. Now, somewhere in all of this, we've woven in some kind of a dialogue, a monologue, whatever you want to call it, about regime change. Now, let me give you my personal, I do not speak for Trump. I don't speak for MAGA. I speak only for me, myself and I, and the What's Right show. I'd love to see regime change in Iran. I really would. And I think it's possible. What should our role in that be? Pretty limited, okay? Like, I think the difference between Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya, and all these places, and Iran is significant, okay, when it comes to regime change. And this has to be said. The key critical difference is, well, there are 2. One is that there is a sophisticated, respectable opposition and organized opposition and government in exile, almost, if you will, under the current Shah Reza Pahlavi, who lives in the U.S. And he is, the rightful heir to the Persian throne. His father was the Shah. He was stabbed in the back by the peanut farmer who became one of the worst presidents in American history. This whole mess exists because Jimmy Carter is a retard, was. And so, we have this opposition, this sophisticated, Western-friendly opposition leader already ready to go. And he's making messages. He's doing this. He's filming his videos. He's in contact with people inside. This Iranian government, this mullah thing is going to crumble on its own. I don't think we just need to get rid of the nukes. That is our objective. And as long as Trump stays on target, I don't care what any senator says, any Republican, I don't care what Lindsey Graham says. I care just about what Trump does. Because I don't even care what Trump says. I think a lot of what Trump is saying is designed to make our enemies, and yes, the mullahs, the Ayatollah of Iran is our enemy, to make them guess and worry and agonize over what our strategy is. A lot of what Trump says is deliberate misinformation, and folks, we all should take it as such with a grain of salt. And I'm not saying this in full defense of Trump. I want him to be lying every time he goes on TV about what he's going to do and or not answer the question. I certainly don't want him to get up there and be honest. There's no strategic advantage to that. But it seems to me that we're not talking about regime change. We're not talking about sending in tanks and Humvees and going through and occupying a country of 92 million people, that instead we're going to take out 2 sites that we believe are deeply dangerous because of nuclear proliferation, take those out, leave, and see what happens. And let the Mossad and Israel sort of handle the rest. And if we have the Shah come to power, I think we should immediately recognize him as the leader of Iran and be there to trade.